The morning started like all the others, gray, heavy, and quiet. Zoya adjusted her schoolbag over one shoulder and quietly pulled the front door closed behind her. The hinges creaked slightly, and she winced, not wanting to disturb her father who had just laid down after a 14-hour night shift. Their small two-room apartment was tucked behind a row of hardware shops and a tire repair stand, the walls thin, the windows always foggy with cooking steam or winter damp. It wasn't much, but it was all they had left. The cold slapped her cheeks as she stepped into the early light. The sky was the color of ash, and the streets still glistened from last night's rain. A few leaves stuck to her shoes as she crossed the empty sidewalk. Her uniform was ironed, but the faded collar and frayed hem told stories no one at Westbridge High would ever care to know. She kept her head down as she walked to the bus stop, her backpack hugging her narrow shoulders, her eyes locked on the ground like she could disappear into the cracks if she looked hard enough. The bus ride was always long and too quiet for comfort. She sat at the back, near the window, earphones in, no music playing, just static, just distance. She watched the streets change from the humble to the elite. From rusting signboards and chipped paint to polished driveways and shiny nameplates. The closer she got to Westbridge, the more invisible she felt. Westbridge High was a fortress. Built with tall iron gates and marbled walls, with banners of old student achievements and a principal who shook hands with mayors and ministers. The students here came with surnames that unlocked doors, trust funds that stretched across generations, and arrogance that was inherited, not earned. Zoya didn't belong here, and she knew it. She was a scholarship kid. The token one. Her father, a driver, had scraped together his entire savings, begged his employer for a recommendation letter, and applied for a hardship scholarship after her mother died. That day still haunted her. The fire was sudden. It started in the kitchen during load shedding. A candle, a gas leak, no one knew the exact reason. Zoya had been in her room doing homework. She remembered the heat before the smoke. The orange glow under her door. The thump of her father's feet, his voice breaking as he screamed her name and kicked through the wall of flame to reach her. They both got out alive. But her mother didn't. Since that night, silence lived in her bones. It wasn't just the silence of grief, it was the silence of being uprooted, shoved into a new world where people saw your pain and turned the other way. A silence that grew louder in a place like Westbridge. When she arrived at the school gates that morning, the guards didn't look at her. They never did. She wasn't one of them. She pushed through the glass doors and walked down the clean, echoing hallways. Locker doors clanged open and shut, heels clicked on the polished floor, and laughter filled the air, but none of it belonged to her. As always, she slipped into her classroom early. History. First period. Her desk was near the window, third row, second seat. It was the only place in the school that felt remotely safe. From there, she could watch the trees outside sway gently in the breeze and pretend she was somewhere else. Somewhere that didn't ache. The room slowly filled. Backpacks thumped onto desks. Girls touched up their lip gloss. Boys threw crumpled papers at each other. Rami strolled in like he owned the place, and in many ways, he did. His father sat on the board. His mother organized school fundraisers. His older brother's name was on the sports hall wall. Rami had been bred for this environment, confident, tall, arrogant, and cruel. He had noticed Zoya the day she walked in 3 months ago. New. Quiet. Worn shoes. Homemade lunch. No designer labels. An easy target. At first, it was jokes he whispered to his friends. Does she smell like mothballs to you? Then came the accidental shoves in the hallway. Then name-calling. Then he graduated to more public games, fake love notes, gum under her chair, stealing her notebook and drawing humiliating cartoons. He never got caught. He was too careful. Too smooth. Teachers loved him. Girls liked him. No one dared cross him. Zoya never reacted. She just took it silently, coldly, like stone under rain. But inside, she was building something quietly, carefully. That morning, the tension in the classroom was strange. The teacher hadn't arrived yet. Whispers filled the air. Rami leaned against his desk, talking loudly enough for her to hear. Wonder if she'll cry today if I tell her shirt's inside out, he smirked. His friends chuckled. Zoya didn't respond. She stared at her textbook. But her hand was clenched in her lap, hidden under the desk, curled into a fist so tight her knuckles were white. That's when it happened. Without warning, he walked up behind her and yanked her hair. Hard. So hard her head snapped back and she gasped. The pain was sudden, hot, sharp. Her neck throbbed. Her heart pounded. The class went still. For a second, no one breathed. Some looked shocked. A few laughed nervously. But most did what they always did, nothing. Rami's laugh broke the silence. Oops. Didn't know, stray cats hissed. Zoya stood up. No one expected it. No one expected her to do anything at all. But she did. She didn't shout. She didn't cry. She walked to the front of the class, opened her bag slowly, and pulled out a small black device. A voice recorder. She placed it on the teacher's desk and pressed a button. A soft beep echoed in the room. And then, his voice. Crystal clear. Let's see if she wears the same thing again tomorrow. Maybe she washes it with dish soap. Laughter. More lines. More insults. A slap of something hitting her back. Tape being pulled. Her breathing. More laughter. Rami's voice, joking about how nobodies like her don't belong here. The classroom froze. I've been recording for 3 weeks, she said, her voice calm but shaking. Every class. Every hallway. Every lunch period. It's all backed up online. And it's been sent. She looked at them, her classmates who had never said a word to help her, and added, to the board. To the local news. And to the city's child protection hotline. A few students gasped. Rami's smirk faded. You think anyone will believe, he started. The door opened. 2 police officers stepped inside. Behind them, the principal and her father, his face pale and tight, eyes filled with pain and fury. Are you Rami Hale? One officer asked. Wait, what? What is this? Rami laughed awkwardly. The other officer didn't wait for an answer. You are under investigation for harassment, assault, and targeted bullying. You have the right to remain silent. The handcuffs clicked. Rami's face turned white. His friends backed away. Zoya didn't move. She just watched. Her father stepped forward, gently placed a hand on her shoulder, and said quietly, "Let's go home." Dove, if this chapter moved your heart or reminded you that even the smallest voice can echo through walls of silence, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. More powerful stories are on the way. Speech balloon special request. Comment below if you've ever seen someone stand up for themselves, or if you've ever wished someone had stood up for you. Your story might just be the spark someone else needs to speak out.